Imagine opening up a traditional-looking laptop, but then you realize the brain inside it is, well, it's the exact same one sitting inside the phone in your pocket.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into Aaron Rose's breakdown of the new MacBook Neo. This is over on Tech-Reader.blog.
Yeah.
And we're asking, like, at what point does a laptop basically just become a giant iPhone?
Which is a really great question.
Yeah, and the author explicitly notes that this device doesn't need to be complicated, which is exactly the energy we want today. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fundamental shift in how we think about computing power, really. We're so used to these laptops that need, heavy-duty cooling just to function.
Oh yeah, the massive fans sounding like jet engines.
Exactly. But Apple built the MacBook Neo around the A18 Pro chip, which is literally an iPhone brain. And what's fascinating here is that they aren't trying to build some miniature, high-powered MacBook Pro.
Right, they have a totally different goal.
Yeah, they're prioritizing everyday efficiency and battery life over, raw professional power.
Which completely changes the physical design.
Mm.
Like if traditional Intel MacBooks were like those massive restaurant kitchens that needed loud, heavy exhaust hoods to stop from overheating.
The thermal throttling.
Right, exactly, thermal throttling.
Yeah.
Well, the A18 Pro makes the Neo more like an induction cooktop. It's perfectly efficient, practically zero wasted heat, and it just does the job in a fraction of the space. Or, to put it another way, it's like a highly efficient daily commuter car instead of a heavy-duty pickup truck.
Oh, that's a really great way to look at it. But under the hood, it's actually more radical than just a cleaner heat profile. Because that A18 Pro runs so incredibly cool, Apple could just completely strip away the fans.
Well, zero fans.
Yeah, none. And that's how we end up with this super minimalist 13-inch chassis. Plus, you get like 16 hours of battery life in those 4 really casual colors.
So the thermal efficiency basically dictates the whole physical footprint.
Exactly.
Okay, but I have to push back on this architecture a bit. Because if the Neo is essentially running on a phone chip, isn't this really just an iPad with a keyboard permanently glued to it?
I see where you go with that.
Like, are we just paying for a glorified mobile device here?
It's a fair assumption to make. But the source makes a really sharp distinction there. You aren't dealing with watered-down mobile apps or, restricted sandboxes.
Okay, so it's a real computer.
Oh, absolutely. The Neo runs the totally unrestricted full file system Mac OS experience. So Finder, Safari, a normal Mac desktop. You install traditional software and run your workflow exactly as you would on any other Mac.
Oh, I see.
It's just executed with the extreme battery efficiency of a mobile device.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Because it's running that A18 Pro chip, the Neo has this massive emphasis on Apple Intelligence.
Oh, right. AI is a huge part of this.
Yeah, the source highlights how these features are deeply integrated into the system, right? Helping with writing, retrieving info, managing images. But it's the mechanism of how it handles that data that really stands out.
Yeah, exactly. Because the A18 Pro features this dedicated neural engine that essentially acts like a bouncer at a club.
Bouncer.
Yeah, so when you ask it to do an AI task, say, proofreading an email or summarizing a document, the bouncer checks if it can be handled securely right there on the local device.
Oh, wow.
So for everyday tasks, it stays local, which means it's super fast and totally private. Only if the request is too massive, like if you're generating a really complex custom image, does the bouncer send it out to Apple's cloud infrastructure.
Right, right. And on top of that, you don't even have to configure some complex AI server or, master these tools on day one.
No, not at all.
It's just baked into the platform for you to discover as you go. Plus, since the architecture is identical to your phone, the integration is totally seamless.
Oh yeah, the handoff is amazing.
Yeah, like passwords, active calls, photos, they all just instantly bridge between your iPhone and the Neo without you lifting a finger.
It really is seamless.
So what does this all mean? Every piece of tech has trade-offs, right? And to achieve this level of fanless minimalism, Apple had to be pretty ruthless.
Oh, absolutely.
You get Touch ID, a bright liquid retina display, and microphones that are, good enough for FaceTime. But you only get 2 USB-C ports.
Right. So if you have a desk full of hard drives, external monitors, or SD cards, you are immediately going to need a hub.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which brings us to who this machine is actually built for.
Right.
If you're rendering 3D graphics or compiling massive software builds, look elsewhere.
Sure, that's what the Pro's for.
Exactly. But for web applications, schoolwork, streaming, and just light everyday creativity, it's arguably the perfect tool.
You don't need a manual. You just open the lid and start typing.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is about removing the friction from computing.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it leaves us with a pretty profound realization.
Ooh, what's that?
The real takeaway from Aaron Rose's piece isn't just that Apple made a cheaper, simpler laptop. It's that they've quietly unified their entire hardware ecosystem around mobile architecture.
Wow. Yeah, when you put it like that.
If the MacBook Neo and the iPhone are sharing the exact same silicon family, we are essentially carrying laptop-level power in our pockets already. So as the brains of our phones and laptops become entirely identical, how long until the physical shape of the device is the only difference that actually matters?
That is something to think about.